Discover the incredible journey. CEO's mother shelters a girl, but what was revealed on day one? Laura had always imagined cozy evenings on her porch swing, sipping lemonade while her children laughed and played. But those dreams drifted far from her reach, buried beneath the weight of 3 jobs and the fear of never quite making ends meet. Each day, she poured every ounce of love into her 2 spirited kids, reminding them of the values her mother had held dear: hard work, compassion, and the importance of community. Yet, as she dragged her exhausted body home each night, the tendrils of despair curled around her heart, whispering that stability was a distant dream. One chilly evening, weary after another shift at the diner, she spotted a figure slumped on her porch, a timid girl with tear-streaked cheeks who looked lost and desperate. "Are you okay?" Laura asked, her motherly instincts kicking in despite her own fatigue. The girl, introducing herself as Kate, revealed she'd fled an abusive home. Without hesitation, Laura invited her in, offering warmth and comfort that Kate desperately needed. They spent the first few days laughing over cookie batter and late-night movie marathons. With each shared moment, Laura felt a flicker of hope ignite in her chest. Perhaps they could be a family, however unconventional. Yet, behind the bursts of laughter lay unspoken secrets, looming heavy like storm clouds. On day one of their new life together, a revelation shattered the newfound happiness. Kate wasn't just an innocent girl, she was the estranged daughter of a local CEO, renowned for his philanthropy but brutal in his indifference to his own flesh and blood. The contrast between their worlds struck Laura like a physical blow, forcing her to reassess her beliefs about family and worth. Here was a girl she loved, but the specter of wealth and judgment whispered doubt. As whispers spread through the town, Laura learned the depths of community. Neighbors who barely lent a hand now rallied around them, eyes blazing with righteous fury over Kate's plight. Tension mounted, as many believed Laura was endangering her family by opening her door to Kate. Yet, Laura felt something growing, a sense of belonging that transcended social status. These small-town hearts knew the true value of compassion, and they weren't afraid to show it. Yet, the stakes rose higher. As she battled not only Kate's demons but her own, Laura faced an ultimatum: risk everything for this bond or protect her children by reclaiming what was once a quiet life. The weight on her shoulders felt unbearable, and when a sleek car rolled up outside her modest home, anger surged through her veins. The silhouette of the CEO darkened the doorstep, looming like a storm ready to break. Laura stood her ground, heart racing, as their eyes locked. Tension hung thick in the air, charged with questions unresolved. Would he judge her for daring to protect his daughter? Or could this moment become a chance for redemption? The stakes couldn't be higher, leaving her breathless, teetering on a precipice. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In that charged silence, as the world around her seemed to recede, Laura understood one undeniable truth: love was stronger than division. This was her moment to slow the hurricane that threatened to consume them all. Would she dare to embrace it? With courage and her children's future in the balance, she took a step forward, her heart pounding with hope. Laura's heart raced as she held the gaze of the CEO, a man she'd only seen in glossy news articles and community fundraisers. He radiated power draped in a tailored suit that spoke of privilege, contrasting sharply with her worn-out jeans and the paint-chipped steps of her home. The air crackled with unspoken words, an entire lifetime of resentment and love swirling just beneath the surface. "Laura," he finally spoke, his voice a deep rumble like distant thunder. "Where is she?" "Who?" she managed, even though she knew exactly who he meant. "Kate," he replied, stepping forward, the urgency in his voice as palpable as the cold evening air. "I know she's here. I just want to talk to her." A mix of protectiveness and defiance surged within Laura. "She needs time." The words fell from her lips like armor. "You haven't been there for her. What can you possibly offer now?" His eyes flickered with a strange pain. "You don't understand," he began, his voice cracking. I thought she was safe. I thought sending her away was what was best. Best for whom? Laura shot back, anger blazing. Best for your image, your reputation? She was scared, alone. She needs love, not another slick company dinner. He flinched, the truth hitting him harder than any public scandal could. It was a jarring moment as CEO faced with his own choices. Please, let me in, he implored softly, dropping his shoulders slightly. The glimpse of vulnerability caused a heartbeat of hesitation in Laura. Could there be a shred of hope for reconciliation? Could he truly realize the depth of the fracture he'd left in Kate's life? Before she could answer, Kate emerged from behind Laura, her bare feet silent on the wooden floor. Dad! She whispered, her voice trembling. In that very moment, all barriers fell. Laura watched the transformation unfold before her, the CEO's stoic facade crumbling as he stepped closer to his daughter. The air thickened with emotion, both fear and longing curled around them like vines, gripping at their hearts. Kate. His voice held a raw urgency. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean to hurt you. Kate's face morphed from shock to confusion, a mixture of hope and betrayal in her eyes. The walls she had built around her heart began to tremble as she processed the man before her, the father she craved, yet feared. This isn't how it's supposed to be, Kate said, her voice breaking. You left me. I thought I was protecting you, he replied, the pain etching deeper lines into his face. Laura stood to the side, her heart aching. She wanted to comfort Kate but feared the floodgates of emotion would swallow them whole. Just then, the distant sound of children laughing from the yard brought Laura back to the present. Her own kids had watched the unfolding drama, wide-eyed from the window. The laughter echoed the innocence lost, making her chest tighten with a yearning for normalcy in a world that felt anything but. Laura, the CEO turned his pleading gaze toward her. Please, help me help her. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. And right there, under the gaze of the moonlight, Laura felt the weight of choice pressing heavily upon her. This could be a chance for healing, or a descent into chaos. Her children's trust hung in the balance, along with Kate's fragile dreams. As she faced the man before her, her hands clenched tightly. The path ahead was clouded and uncertain. Love, after all, was never straightforward. Can you truly be the father she needs? She whispered, the tension vibrating like the final note of an unfinished song. His eyes locked onto hers, the gravity of their roles hanging in the air like a storm cloud. I don't know yet, but I want to try, for her. And in that moment, the question loomed larger than ever. Could a shattered bond ever truly be mended? Detecting a new rustle from the yard, Laura's stomach churned, fear washing over her once again. What if the past collided with their fragile future? With everything at stake, she knew they were on the brink, unsure whether to step forward or retreat. What she didn't expect was the unexpected arrival of someone else, someone who could change everything once again. As the laughter from the yard faded into a hesitant silence, the door creaked open wider. An old woman stepped onto the porch, her silver hair catching the moonlight like shimmering threads of history. Laura recognized her instantly, the CEO's mother, a woman whose name often whispered through the corridors of her past. This was the woman who had built not just a company, but a legacy, veiled behind power and privilege. Henry, she called, her voice gently wrapping around the tension. What's going on? She didn't seem surprised by the scene unfolded before her, as if she somehow sensed this moment was coming. Laura's heart raced at the sight of her. The stories she had heard about her were painted with both admiration and fear. The vast, looming world encapsulated within the walls of their mansion always felt so distant to her. The CEO turned to his mother, his expression shifting from urgency to something gentler. I'm trying to reach Kate, he said, the weight of their estrangement heavy in the air. Kate. The old woman's gaze softened at the mention of her granddaughter. Where is she? I'm right here, Kate spoke up, her voice quivering but strong. She stepped away from Laura, her eyes darting between her father and grandmother, caught in a storm of emotions. The CEO's mother knelt, her eyes glistening as she looked up at Kate. Oh, my sweet girl. You didn't deserve any of this. The warmth in her voice had a familiar pull. It was the kind of love that could thaw even the iciest hearts, creating ripples of understanding amid the chaos. "Why did you let him send me away?" Kate demanded, crossing her arms tightly as if to shield herself from the unraveling connection. The old woman looked momentarily pained, but her expression quickly morphed into determination. "I wanted to protect you just as much as your father did. But there are some things we can only learn by being together." In that moment, Laura felt the burden of unresolved pain and longing hanging heavy in the air. It was as if the generations were colliding, each one carrying their own scars and burdens, and here, they were all entwined in this shared moment of vulnerability. Henry took a step closer to Kate, his chin trembling. "Please, let me try to make it right." The room felt small, and the words hung heavily. Could they actually mend what had broken? Would they allow each other the space to heal? Kate's brows furrowed, battling between the urge to embrace her father and the scars that lingered from his absence. "And how do you plan to do that?" she asked, her voice laced with defiance but also a thread of hope. "I will start by being here," Henry replied, the conviction in his voice surprising even him. Laura watched as the walls around Kate wavered, each word peeling back layers of hurt. Just then, laughter erupted again from outside. The innocence of her children, blissfully unaware of the storm inside, injected a moment of clarity. They were all interconnected, as hurtful as those connections could be. "Kate," Laura finally stepped forward, her voice calm yet urgent. "You don't have to decide right this minute. It's okay to take your time." But Kate shook her head, her eyes glistening with unexpressed emotions. "No. I need to know if he is serious. Are you really ready to be a father?" Henry looked into his daughter's eyes, sincerity pouring from his soul. "I have to be. All I need is a chance." Her breath caught in her throat, a hesitant acceptance hanging in the balance. The night seemed to hold its breath, a decision creeping closer. And just as Laura felt warmth settle amid the chaos, the figure of a man stepped through the shadows of the yard, a hooded figure, his face obscured but his presence charged with a sense of purpose. In that moment, a new wave of uncertainty surged through the air, igniting feelings of dread. Who was this newcomer, and how would he change everything again? The figure took a step forward, the moonlight finally revealing a glimpse of his face. Laura's heart raced as she recognized him, the boy from the past, mischievous yet familiar. Wasn't he supposed to be a distant memory? "Jake?" Kate gasped, incredulous. "What are you doing here?" "Surprise," he said with a half-smile, an irony drowning in his tone. The warmth faded from Kate's face, replaced by a swirl of confusion. Henry's posture stiffened, and Laura could sense the tension ripple through him. "Why are you here?" he demanded, his voice a mix of authority and worry. Jake shrugged, casting a casual look over his shoulder, seemingly unaware of the charged atmosphere. "Just wanted to check in. You know how it is, family affairs and all that." Laura felt her breath hitch. Jake had been a part of their lives once. He had been even closer to Kate than they realized, embodying both playfulness and trouble. How did he get here, unraveling secrets they all thought were put away for good? Kate narrowed her eyes, her expression hardening. "You don't belong here, Jake. Not now, not with all that's going on." Henry stepped forward, a protective instinct kicking in. "What do you mean by family affairs? You've been out of the loop." "I'm not here to cause any trouble. I wanted to see Kate," Jake admitted, his voice dropping into somber territory. Kate blinked rapidly, caught off guard as if the world had flipped upside down. "Why now?" "Because I heard about the reunion." "You deserve to know the truth, Kate," Jake said, his words slowing, pulling them in like a tide. "What truth?" Kate's voice was sharp, a mix of frustration and fear lacing her tone. Before Jake could answer, the old woman, Henry's mother, stepped into the fray, a whisper of authority surrounding her. "Jake, if you have something to say, then say it. Don't twist the knife." Laura felt the air shift. Tension wrapped around them like a cloak. This wasn't just about Kate and her father anymore. Secrets loomed over them, carrying shadows that stretched across their pasts. "I'm going to tell you about your mother," Jake stated, his voice steady. "There's more to her story than you know." The words landed like a stone. Kate's demeanor faltered, her walls crumbling as curiosity fought with caution. "What do you mean? What do you know? Jake took a deep breath, his eyes filled with a blend of regret and determination. I know everything about the way things fell apart, about why you were taken away. For a moment, silence engulfed the house, a pregnant pause heavy with anticipation. Kate looked back at her father, searching for answers in his eyes. Henry's expression became one of worry, the past twisting and curling, entwining them once more in a narrative none could escape. No, he said, his voice trembling. You shouldn't be the one to say this. But Jake stepped forward, undeterred. Someone has to. You need to hear the truth. Just as Laura felt a flicker of hope ignite within Kate, laughter erupted once more from the yard. But this time, it was hollow tinged with neglect, mocking the serious weight in the air. The children's joyful sounds felt like a world away, highlighting the division between innocence and the raw reality poised to unravel. Whatever you think you know, Kate Henry began, his tone pleading, please, let us talk about this privately. But there was no turning back now. The night was charged, secrets brimming, and a storm was on the horizon. Would they be able to face the truth, or would it tear them apart? And just as the echo of tension carried in the wind, Laura felt the stirrings of something deeper rising inside her, a realization that this moment might be the key to not just Kate's understanding but to her own as well. What untold stories would Jake reveal? And could the fragile connections forged tonight withstand the tempest of emotion about to break? The tension in the air thickened like fog, every heartbeat echoing louder than the distant laughter that drifted through the open window. Laura leaned back, her mind racing. Who was this Jake, really? The boy she remembered had been carefree, a beacon of mischief that often led Kate into trouble. But now, that boy stood before them, cloaked in shadows and secrets, and everything felt unnervingly serious. Your mother, Jake began again, his voice low but commanding, wasn't just a woman caught in circumstances. There's a truth about her past that you need to understand, Kate. He took another step forward, the moonlight illuminating his face, which had softened with a hint of regret. Kate's eyes darted between her father and Jake. What could you possibly know that I don't? She challenged, her voice trembling but fierce. Laura felt a wave of protectiveness for her friend. Kate had always been the strong one, the one who carried the weight of their world on her shoulders. And it seemed, once again, she'd have to shoulder the burden of this truth. Jake sighed, running a hand through his hair, a telltale sign of stress. I loved your mother. She was my best friend. We shared everything until everything fell apart. Henry straightened, disbelief washing over his features. You think you can just waltz in here and drop bombs like that? That it doesn't matter how hard we work to move on? Laura, watching the interplay of emotions, sensed the connection between Jake and Kate. Was he right? She wondered. What if this is just the beginning of a long road back into the shadows of their past? I deserve to know. Kate shouted suddenly, surprising everyone. Her voice wavered but held the kind of fury that only comes from deep pain. All my life, I've been piecing together fragments of who my mother was. Jake, if you really know something, then for once just say it. Jake's expression hardened, the familiar mischief erased. Okay. Your mother was involved in something big. Something dangerous. It's why you were taken away. It's why your life turned upside down. The weight of his words lay heavy in the room, as if a storm had settled overhead, ready to unleash its fury. Laura felt her heart pound in her chest. This wasn't just about Kate anymore, it was about a history that may still be haunting them, ready to rear its ugly head once more. Danger. Henry repeated, disbelief washing over his face. You don't understand what you're saying. Laura saw the way Jake's jaw clenched. I'm saying your mother was tied to a world that almost destroyed her. And in that chaos, she lost her way. If you want to find peace, Kate, you need to understand that. Kate turned to her father, her voice now quiet, almost a whisper. Is this true? All these years, was it built on the lies of that past? Henry opened his mouth to speak, but the words fell away, unformed and helpless. Instead, he looked at Jake, a man who once had been a boy alongside them, who now stood as an unwelcome harbinger of truth. In the silence, Laura felt a wave of sadness wash over her. Could they really dig into this pain? Could Kate survive what was about to come? Just then, the distant laughter from the yard faded, and Laura understood that the innocence of childhood was slipping through their fingers like sand. The reality of adult choices loomed large, and the stakes had never felt higher. Could this shared history bind them closer together or break them apart for good? And as the shadows deepened, Laura caught a hint of determination in Kate's eyes, a fire that suggested she wouldn't let secrets drown her. Would they brave the storm and unearth the truth, or would discovering the depths of her mother's past unravel everything they held dear? The room felt frozen, like time had ceased at the weight of Jake's revelation. Kate's breath caught in her throat as she searched for words that evaded her. The air crackled with tension, and Laura could almost feel the electricity vibrating between them. Kate, her father finally muttered, his voice heavy. There are things I never wanted you to know, things that should stay buried for your own good. His gaze faltered, and Laura saw the turmoil wrought on his face. Is it really for my good? Kate shot back, her anger slowly morphing into desperation. Or is it just easier for you to keep it all hidden? What good can come from not knowing? The edges of her vision blurred as she fought back tears. Jake stepped forward again, his posture shifting from reticent to resolute. Kate, I brought the truth. Ignorance won't save you. Your mother made choices that put all of us in danger. Wouldn't you want to know why? Laura felt her heart race, caught in a whirlwind of emotions herself. She wanted to pull Kate back from the precipice of this discovery, to shield her from the truths that could potentially shatter her world. But she also knew a part of Kate craved this, longed for the pieces of her past to finally fall into place. Please, just tell me, Kate implored, her voice breaking. I've spent my life avoiding the shadows of my mother's life, but I can't run anymore. If there's danger involved, I need to know. There was a moment, a fragile pause, where hope and terror mingled in the air. Jake swallowed hard, his eyes scanning the room as if searching for validation. Your mother made sacrifices, she was protecting you. There were forces, people who wanted to silence her. It's why you're here now, far away from that world. But what were those forces? Henry asked, his voice barely above a whisper. It was as if he didn't want to summon the darkness lurking just outside their door. They were part of a larger network, Kate, Jake replied, his voice steady but grave. Your mother's involvement, it put her at odds with people who didn't care about collateral damage. They would done anything to stop her, anything. What does that even mean? Kate's fists clenched, frustration and fear battling within her. Did they want to hurt her? Was I supposed to be a target too? I can't say, Jake admitted, gaze falling briefly to the floor. But I do know this. Your mother was trying to protect you in the only way she knew how. She sacrificed her safety to keep you out of their grasp. An uneasy silence settled over them, thick with the unspoken implications of Jake's words. Laura felt suffocated by the weight of his confession. What kind of life had they stumbled into? Suddenly, Laura noticed a flicker of determination sparking in Kate's demeanor. If I'm going to understand, if I'm going to uncover this truth, I need to know everything. Not just some pieces that fit nicely together. The good, the bad, all of it. The fire in Kate's eyes was intense, a stark contrast to the uncertainty surrounding them. Yet Laura couldn't help but worry. Was her friend prepared for the depths of this darkness? Before anyone could respond, a loud knock echoed through the stillness, rattling the doorframe. All eyes darted toward the sound, and Laura's heart raced. Was someone else listening? What lay on the other side? As the realization settled in, she felt an icy grip of fear wrap around her heart. What if the danger was closer than they thought? And could they really unveil their shadows without plunging into the abyss? The door swung open to reveal a silhouette, leaving them all on edge. Was it help, or was it a new threat lurking just beyond their fragile moment of truth? The silhouette stepped into the doorway, the dim light casting a long shadow across the room. As they stepped forward, it became clear that it was a woman. She was unnaturally still, her features partially obscured by the soft glow behind her. But even in the dimness, Laura could see the urgency in her expression. Who are you? Jake asked, instinctively guarding Kate, positioning himself protectively in front of her. I'm here to warn you, the woman said, her voice steady yet urgent. You don't understand what is coming. Kate's heart pounded as she took a cautious step forward, curiosity intermingled with dread. "What do you know? What is happening?" The woman hesitated, her gaze flitting between each of them, as if weighing their trustworthiness. Laura felt a shiver run down her spine. Every instinct screamed that this encounter could either be a lifeline or a trap. "I'm an ally of your mother S," she finally added, her voice lowering to a confidential whisper. "And so much of what you've heard is only the beginning." Laura's breath caught in her throat. Another thread of Kate's past, woven into this precarious moment. "But why now? Why show up here?" "Because they're coming." The woman's eyes darkened. "They're getting closer. You stirred the shadows with your questions, Kate. You've awakened something that was meant to stay asleep." Kate gazed at the woman with a mixture of disbelief and growing determination. "If I've awakened something, I need to know everything, not just the bits related to my mother. Can you help me?" Jake's expression hardened. "What do you know about my daughter? About her mother? Are you telling me she is still in danger?" The woman took a deep breath before diving deeper. "Your mother was a vital part of a network of resistance against these forces. They wanted to contain her, obliterate her, before she could uncover their secrets." "Resistance?" Kate echoed, her curiosity igniting. "What kind of secrets?" Before the woman could respond, the sharp sound of sirens wailed in the distance, cutting through the thick tension. Their faces turned as one, the noise rising louder and louder, an ominous siren calling them closer to whatever was lurking. "It's time to go," she urged, her gaze darting nervously towards the window. "They know you're here. They know everything." "Who? Who knows?" Kate asked, panic creeping into her voice. The woman moved quickly to the door, urgency radiating from her. "Those who wish to silence the truth. They don't care who gets caught in their web." Laura's head spun. This was spiraling into chaos. Just as they began to comprehend their situation, the outside noise intensified, a cacophony of feet pounding the ground, voices shouting. Someone was searching for them. "Please, trust me," the woman insisted, her voice tinged with desperation. "If you want to unlock your mother's past, if you want to understand your role in all this, you need to come with me now." Kate stood frozen for a moment, the weight of decisions pressing down on her. It was the opportunity she had long sought. But at what cost? Was she ready to wade into this unknown? "I can't just leave," Kate murmured, the fear evident in her eyes. "You must," the woman pressed. "This isn't just about you anymore. It's about protecting everyone you love." The sirens grew louder, almost deafening. Laura felt her pulse race. They had a choice to make now, and time was slipping through their fingers. Would they cling to the safety of ignorance, or dive headfirst into the chaos to uncover the truth? Then, without warning, a loud crash reverberated from the front of the house, and the woman's expression turned grim. "They're here." As the door creaked ominously, the question hung heavy in the air: would they face what lay ahead together, or would this moment tear them apart forever? The door flew open with a violent shove, splintering wood and spraying dust into the air. A group of figures stormed in, faces hidden behind dark masks, their intentions as menacing as their appearances. Laura felt a surge of panic wash over her. Here they were, standing at the brink of a choice that felt dangerously close to life or death. "Go!" the woman shouted, her voice breaking through the chaos as she lunged for Kate's hand. "Now!" Jake instinctively pulled Kate back, his grip firm. "Where?" he breathed, a thread of determination weaving into his fear. "What should we do?" "Out the back," the woman urged, scanning the room for points of escape. "I'll hold them off for just a moment. You have to trust me." Kate's heart raced. She wanted to believe, but every instinct told her they were stepping into a trap. "Wait!" she shouted, desperate for clarity as the chaos erupted around them. "What about you?" The woman met her gaze, her eyes fierce yet pleading. "This is my fight too. But you're the key, Kate. You have to uncover the truth your mother hid." Before Kate could respond, the masked intruders pushed into the living room. The woman's eyes flared with determination, and she turned to face them, hands raised in defiance, but they were far too many. "Come on." Laura pulled Kate's arm as she felt the inertia of their situation weigh them down. Ignoring the chaos, she took a deep breath, her mind racing to process everything. They needed to move. They had to get out. They dashed toward the back door just as a commotion erupted. Shoving through the door, they stumbled down the porch steps into the cold night air. The fresh chill was invigorating, but the threat still loomed behind them. As they sprinted across the yard, Kate's heart thudded like a drum, each footfall echoing her doubts. "What does she mean I'm the key?" she gasped, breathless. "I don't know," Laura shouted back, glancing over her shoulder. "But we need answers, Kate. There's more to this. Keep moving," Jake yelled. His protective instinct surged again, urging them forward as shadows flitted behind them in the darkness. The chaos around them molded into a frenzied escape, fear amplifying each step they took. As the trio dashed toward the tree line bordering the backyard, they could hear voices rising in frustration, shouting commands. Their pursuers were in a frenzy, the night alive with danger. "We need to disappear," Jake urged, panting hard as they ducked into the trees. "Where do we go?" Kate shouted, the panic rising again. She felt lost amidst the immense weight of everything that had just unfolded. The woman's words echoed in her mind. She had awakened something. New questions swirled about her mother, her life, and now more than ever, about herself. But right now, survival was paramount. "Anywhere but here," Laura cried, glancing around as they made their way deeper into the thicket, the branches snagging at their clothes. Suddenly, a shot rang out, a piercing crack that shattered the night and sent a jolt of electricity through Kate's veins. "Run!" Jake yelled, ignoring the fire in her legs. Kate pushed herself harder, heart thrumming wild in her chest. But as they darted deeper into the woods, a flicker of uncertainty tempered her instincts. "What if we have to turn back?" she murmured, still torn between the freedom of flight and the truth she sought. "Kate, we look forward, never back," Laura urged, pulling her onward. "Whatever is out there can't compare to whatever is hiding in the pass." Out of breath and running blind, Kate felt the certainty of destiny prick at her thoughts. She could not hide from the truth forever. But in that very moment, a shadow loomed ahead, threatening, dark, and powerful. Would they step boldly into the unknown or be swallowed whole by the choices before them? The shadows elongated as they pushed deeper into the woods. Kate's heart raced, not only from exertion but from the uncertainty creeping into her thoughts. What did it mean to be the key? And why was she so important? She gazed into the darkness, feeling as if the trees themselves were towering giants hiding secrets she was meant to unveil. "Where do we go?" she whispered, desperation tightening her throat. "Just keep moving," Jake insisted, his voice strained but firm. They were running together, each breath a frantic plea for safety, but also for understanding. The night cloaked them, and within its depths, the branches began to twist and pull at them like fingers, urging them backward. Laura, leading the way, glanced back at Kate, her face pale but resolute. "Kate, you're not alone in this. Whatever they want from you, we'll face it together." As they burst through a thicket, they stumbled upon a clearing. The moon hung high, its silver light illuminating a small pond that reflected the night sky like a serene mirror. But this beautiful sight brought little comfort. The adrenaline coursed through them, shaking Kate's limbs. She couldn't linger in the moment. "Should we stop?" Laura asked, taking a breath. They huddled together, trying to find a moment of calm amidst the chaos. We need a plan," she continued, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. "Look," Jake pointed as shadows flickered at the edge of the trees. "We can't stay here for long." He grabbed both girls by the shoulders, reminding them of their shared vulnerability. "Those people want to stop. We need to find out what they want." Kate's mind was a whirlwind of confusion and fear. Her mother had kept her in the dark about so much. Was it to protect her? Or was it to hide something more sinister? "My mom," she barely managed to ask through the tightness in her chest. "What did she do?" "I don't know," Laura replied softly. "But she must have thought you were in danger, or else she wouldn't have said anything at all." The truth was a dark cloud hovering over them, leaving them with an unsettling mixture of hope and dread. Kate's heart thundered as she stared into the pond, searching for answers in the glistening surface. What was she hiding? Suddenly, the distant crack of branches snapping drew their attention. The hunters were getting closer. Kate's pulse quickened, an irreversible panic rising within her. "Run!" Jake shouted, pulling them back into the trees, his urgency igniting their instincts. The three of them moved as one, each footfall pressing them deeper into fear, yet driving them toward survival. As they dashed through the underbrush, memories clawed at Kate, the laughter of her mother on better days, the glimpses of shadows lurking around her childhood. The ties of family, love, and truth twisted together into something deep and unsettling. Whatever fate awaited her, it felt like they were all tangled in it now. They went deeper still and soon found themselves navigating a narrow path that wound between the towering trees. Frustration gnawed at Kate as she realized they were running blind without a destination. "What if we're just leading them straight to ourselves?" she shouted, shivering from fear and exhaustion. "No," Laura insisted, determination cementing her words. "If we stick together, we can do this. The truth is out there, Kate, waiting for you." The weight of those words sank in. Perhaps the truth wasn't merely a burden, perhaps it was a gift, one that could reshape everything they thought they understood. There was power in knowledge. Ahead, the path split again, leading in different directions. Kate halted, her breath hitching. "We have to decide." Laura squeezed her hand, a reminder that she had never been alone in this fight. "You choose, Kate. We trust you." As the shadows crept ever closer behind them, Kate stared into the darkness. Which path would lead them toward the truth and safety? And what would happen when it all came to light? In that moment, uncertainty gripped her once more. But standing at the crossroads of fear and courage, she understood she had to make a choice. "Here," she said, her voice steadying with each word. "We go left." But the way forward was shrouded in mystery. Would they discover clarity in the shadows, or was the journey just beginning? Kate led the charge, her heart pounding and adrenaline surging through her veins like wildfire. Laura and Jake flanked her, every cautious step feeling like it echoed into the unknown. The shadows loomed behind them, hungry for the truth they carried. Yet within Kate, resolve began to blossom, fueled by the memory of laughter and love she had almost forgotten. The path veered left, lined with thick brush and towering trees that seemed to cradle secrets older than time itself. Each step took her further from the chaos, yet deeper into her mother's past. But the weight of that past felt transformative. If she was indeed the key, then each twist and turn might bring clarity to the tangled web her mother had left behind. "Kate, wait," Laura whispered, trying to catch her breath. "Do you truly think this is where the answers lie?" "I have to know," Kate replied, determination firming her voice. "I have questions no one else can answer." Jake's eyes darted nervously. "We can't lose sight of safety in seeking the truth." "Safety?" Kate felt incredulity surge forth. "How can I be safe when there's so much to uncover? What if my mom's sacrifices were in vain? I can't let that be the end of her story." Laura placed a gentle hand on Kate's shoulder. "You're not just uncovering your mother's legacy, you're creating your own. Remember, choosing to confront this isn't just brave, it's necessary. For you and for all of us." A newfound warmth spread through Kate. She was surrounded by support. Their impending danger felt less daunting because she wasn't alone. She could feel her mother's spirit, whispering a melody of strength and resilience, pushing her forward. As they continued down the narrow path, an unexpected luminescence appeared ahead. It shimmered through the treetops, beckoning them closer. "Look," Jake pointed, breath quickening with a mix of excitement and fear. "I can't believe it," Laura said, scanning the opening that revealed itself a hidden glade spilling with moonlight. "It looks sacred." With cautious steps, they entered the glade. The air became crisp, filled with an ethereal silence that enveloped them. Gleaming stones seemed to line a circular clearing, and in its center stood a weathered stone altar, its surface etched with symbols that felt familiar. Kate's breath hitched as recognition stirred a legacy stretching back through time. Is this the place?" Kate whispered. "Where my mom may have sought refuge?" "It's possible," Jake replied, his eyes wide with awe. With each moment, the clarity deepened, illuminating fragments of a truth she long resented, now glittering as shards of insight. "We're meant to bring something back here," Kate realized aloud, glancing at her companions. All of us. This is part of the journey. Just as Kate's understanding settled like gentle rain, the sound of rustling branches pierced the tranquility. Fear rippled through her group. They found us. Laura breathed, panic rising in her chest. Stay together, Jake commanded, instinct overpowering fear as he positioned himself in front of Laura and Kate. But at that moment, the woman who had first warned them stepped through the trees, dark hair flowing like a veil, her eyes fierce with purpose. You haven't run far enough yet, she said, urgency coating her words. They're drawing closer. Who? Kate pressed, frustration sparking. What does it take to uncover the truth? The truth is within you, the woman replied, pausing for impact. Your courage to embrace it will determine your fate. Kate's mind raced. Is that why they want me? Because I'm bound to the past? Yes, the woman replied sternly. Your mother's choices intertwined your lives. Only by shedding light can you dispel the shadows around you. I'm not giving in to fear, Kate declared, her heart swelling in defiance. If I have to face whatever horrors lie in the truth, then I will. The woman nodded slowly, and a proud glimmer sparked in her eyes. You're closer than you think. But first, you must protect what matters most. Suddenly, the glade felt more menacing than magical, the shadows creeping in like an encroaching storm. They had to act quickly. Kate, the altar, Laura urged, realizing all at once. Whatever it takes, we need to connect with your mother's legacy now. Together, they rushed forward to the stone altar, gathering around it, their hearts racing in synchronization. As Laura and Jake held Kate's hands firmly, she inhaled deeply, focusing on the warmth emanating from their united strength. Mom, Kate whispered, closing her eyes. I don't understand everything, but I know I want to fight for our truth. I want to know who I am. A pulse of energy ignited beneath their hands, a flicker of understanding pulsing through them, as the very stones appeared to respond. Symbols glimmered to life, illuminating the darkness, stretching forward into the unknown. In that moment, memories flooded Kate's mind, her mother's laughter, the warmth of embraced love, but also the sorrow of choices made in shadow. A journey stitched through time, reshaping destinies. Together, Laura urged, squeezing Kate's hands tighter. Let us do this, Jake said fiercely, summoning courage out of the shadows. With their hearts entwined, they felt the compulsion of their connection, a bond inciting hope against the darkness. We're ready. As the bodies in the shadows crashed through the trees, emerging with intent fire in their eyes, the clearing filled with brilliant light. Answer my plea, Kate called, tapping into the strength swirling within. Let my courage break these chains. The light radiated outward, cascading over them, reflecting the tumult of emotions, illuminating truths long buried. She stood on the precipice, ready to dive into the heart of her legacy. As the boundaries between the past and present began to dissolve, Kate felt the truth surfacing, everything she longed to know now pulling painfully free. She was ready to face whatever would come next. Dare she plunge into the depths of her family history? There was no turning back now. With the shadows behind them and the light rising from within, Kate felt the undeniable bond of every choice leading to this very moment. This was their fate. Together. As darkness approached, she opened her eyes wide, catching glimpses of truth in their wake, and a path to redemption began to unfold. This is it. If you felt the power of this transformation, you need to subscribe now to not miss our upcoming exclusive stories. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm. Your support makes all the difference. Comment below with how this journey impacted you. What emotions did you feel in this finale? And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us bring our community together through the power of stories.